Hey guys, Luxi here. Today I want to share with you guys some tips on Arena and hope this would help more people get into Arena and have as much fun as I do. So, tip number 1. Artifact without charges and weather cards are king. In Arena, things that help you get value over the long run is extremely valuable and will usually cause you to win you the game. So, for example, Sihu and master crafted spears, all these artifacts gain value over the long round if they are not removed, and weather effects such as Ragnarok, which does 2 damage a turn on a row, or cards such as Dragon's Dream, which does 3 damage to all units on a row. I usually top tier picks and really strong cards if your opponent doesn't have answers to them. So on the other side, if there are weather or artifact clears, you should try to pick at least 1 or 2 of them so that you do not auto lose to these strong cards. So tip number 2, strong cards such as those with high provisions usually will do well. So try to pick cards with high provisions such as Phoenix. Phoenix gives you value like over 3 turns, like it's an insane card. And I found that reactive cards are also really strong. So for example, let's go into looking at the Geralt cards. So you have damage an enemy by 3 if the power was a multiple of 3, destroy it instead. So the Professional destroys any enemy with a multiple of 3. Geralt of Rivia destroy any enemy with more than 8 power, and obviously the famous Igni, which destroys multiple units if you are able to line the power up. So I found that reactive cards are strong because usually they will find a target, and this provides a huge swing in tempo. And tip number 3, generally avoid cards with order abilities, because in Arena I found that many people will pick up lock cards which enable them to lock your unit, so you are not able to fully utilize order ability cards. But that being said, some order ability cards which have value over the long run, you should still pick them, as cards like Yennefer Conjurer, which damages the enemy unit by 1 per turn, are really good, as if your opponent doesn't answer these cards, usually they will also win you the game. And in Arena, usually you would want to have order cards above 4 health, as there are many cards that do 4 damage but there aren't as many cards that do 5. What I mean is cards like Milane. So Milane is a typical card that damages an enemy by 4. So it will instantly kill any of your order units which have less than 4 HP. Alright, tip number 4. I found that cards like Hailstorm, although it sounds good in theory, damages 5 enemies by 2, a total of 10 damage. Sounds good in theory, but I found that in Arena, your opponent is unlikely to swarm the board, so you do not actually get full value from your removal. As whenever they play a card, you would remove the card, and whenever they play another card, you would remove the card. So generally, Arena boards, unlike constructed, usually stay very small, and cards which do damage based on like you're trying to counter swarm bots, usually although they are not bad, but they do not usually get a full value. Okay, tip number 5. This is based on like many games where I have been screwed over by this card, and this is to try to use half of your mulligans on turn 1 because of this card, Letter of Goulet. So this removes all redraws from your enemy leader, and if your opponent plays this can really screw up your hand, as if they drop it in round 1 or round 2, you are no longer able to mulligan out the shitty bronze cards and you'll be stuck with them throughout the game, and this usually would be bad enough to cause you to lose the game. So try to spend half your mulligans in round 1 so that you have some sort of counter to this, as well as save half of your mulligans for round 3. So it's like a in-between solution to this card. Alright, now tip number 6. Try to play to your left with 4 cards before passing if you are going second. So because of the new draws in Homecoming, where you draw 3 a turn, so as long as you hold 4 or more cards, you are able to drive past on round 2 if you are ahead. And a general rule of thumb is that if you are going second, you want to be ahead on points on even cards, or even if your opponent passes, you are able to get ahead by being down 1 card. Cause this allows you to drive past in round 2 and have the last say in round 3. So why is last say very important in round 3? Is because if you play your biggest unit in hand or throw out your best removal, it cannot be disrupted by your opponent as they have already played their last cards. So some exceptions to this rule is if you fall really far behind in terms of points, and number 2, they have a strong artifact such as Sea Heal or weather cards that you are unable to clear. So this means that you are gonna fall further and further behind per turn. And the third exception to this rule is a card such as King of Beggars. So let's look at this card. King of Beggars. So every turn on turn end, boost the lowest unit in your hand by 1. So for example, your opponent plays this card early, and then you realize somehow, for some reason, you have no answers to this card. You want to pass as early as possible so that you avoid giving this card value for the next turns that you're gonna play for the next rounds that you're gonna play your opponent. Okay. Tip number 7. Usually you do not want to boost a unit above 8 with tactical advantage. So tactical advantage is the advantage that you get going first in a round, and it allows you to boost any unit by 5, right? But the difference between Constructor and Arena is that, as mentioned, there are many cards which kills enemy over 8 power, and needless to say, boosting an important unit above 8 will get it killed immediately. So it has happened to me more than once before, and I realized that, and the safer thing to do would be to not boost your important unit above 8, especially engine cards. Okay, tip number 8. So spells work really well with Francesca, as I have recently noticed, because it allows you to play the special card twice, right? So for example, you have strong spells like Renew, or you have strong spells like Heatwave, Ragnarok. This allows you to combo it with the leader ability and enable you to play these high provision spells twice, and usually if you manage to pick these cards up, you will be able to win you the game. And one more card I want to go over is the Blue Dream spell, which allows you to play opponent's graveyard. So this card, I have found out that it's really strong, in which you get to play your opponent's strongest unit in round 3, for example, and usually it will like be good. Like this card usually won't break because your opponent usually will have drafted like strong cards. Okay, and the last tip is that, needless to say, play tons of arena, and this will help you learn the different cards which you might not even see in constructed. And so for example, one card that I found was quite interesting is the Angular May, which allows you to play a random artifact. So you will never see this card in constructed, but it's a really fun card in arena as you never know what you're gonna get. So you'll be able to come up with new interactions between cards that you might not have thought before, and it encourages you to improve your deck building abilities as you go through the arena draft. So I'm sure I've missed out some points, so let me know, and it helps me improve as well. So thank you guys for watching, and that's all from me. Okay, let's go with a mock draft in arena and just discuss some of the thinking behind the choices. I may not be completely right, but yeah. Yapen is bad. Juta, nope. I think Herald is pretty good in general. Ooh. But I want to have at least one lock. Poet allows you to, I think Leto Kingslayer. Poet is like a free 4 points. Destroy the lowest enemy. Is Kingslayer just too strong? Is it stronger than Poet, do you think? I think Kingslayer is stronger than Poet. Damage 3 turns. I mean, after 3 turns, damage all units by 2. This damages your next card they play by 5. If there's an elf ally on the battlefield, 2 conditional. Whenever an adjacent unit takes damage, boost self by 1. Unlikely to work. So it's either one of these two. I think Crushing Threat, if there is... It's cause it's too easy to play around Incinerating Trap. Like they could just throw like a rubbish unit. Wow, this one you need at least 3 units for it to get 6 points of value. So I think Incinerating Trap is still better. Okay, this card might be good, but if it dies, your opponent summons the lowest unit from their deck. Not the worst thing, but yeah. Deploy. Restore a unit to its base power. Usually doesn't help. Boost an ally by 2. Damage an enemy by the amount. 2 conditional as well. So it's either we go for Weavers or Goyard. And let's take the risk. I think Goyard is more worth it. Whenever you play a unit with Death Wish. So for conditional cards like this, usually you don't want to take it first. Unless you have like multiple Death Wish units already. Because like cards like this usually only works in constructed. Destroy an ally and play a base copy of it. Could be good. Damage. This is a bad card. Damage each non-spectre unit by 1. Okay. Destroy an enemy with resilience. Also a bad card. But they allow you to have I think I'll go with Whispering Hewlock. In case I get something good and I want to replay it. For example, you can play your damaged units to get it back to full health. Destroy an ally on the row, damage self. This is usually just a 5-point card. Destroy an artifact. Destroying it. The problem with this card is it's not a body, right? So if they don't play any artifacts, it's a 0-point card. And even if you play it, usually they will gain some sort of value. So although you do need cards that destroy artifacts, I don't think this card will ever be taken. I think I'll go with Blue Mountain Elite just for a form of removal. So we have Trap again, Slave Hunter. I think Slave Hunter is too bad a card to play. Usually they don't stack 4 on a single row. And even if they do, you'll get like a low point unit. Scout. Remove a row effect. Okay. I think I'll take Scout in case they have weather effects. Okay, Pathfinder is pretty good in that over the long term you continuously boost yourself by 1. This is a 9-point card. Really good removal. Deathmaw, the same thing. It's a bad card. Spawn a copy of a bronze ally. This only works in constructed. So it's whether I feel that Pathfinder can get a lot of value. I don't know. I think I just like flat damage more. Okay, drain all boosters from an enemy. From my experience, higher vampire isn't that good as it's very conditional, right? The best you can get is maybe like you drain the tactical advantage, which is not the worst thing. Damage an enemy by the power of your highest ally. Goyat? Combo? I don't know. Very conditional as well. So it only works in constructed. Spawn 2 drones. How about to review? Damage enemies at the ends of a row by 2. Potentially good. I don't know. Let's go with higher vampire. I don't know. Let's try this card out again. Cause I realized that this fares pretty well if we are going second. Boost an allied unit by 2 or heal by 4. Damage an ally by 1 for each Spectre ally. Conditional. Deals 3 damage in total. Heal an ally by 2, then boost by 2. Isn't Hawker Healer just strictly better? Yeah, nothing much to say about this card. Alright, we get our first artifact. Give 2 charges, lock. Damage a unit by 2, increase by 1 for each lock unit. And for Longship, same as before. So as mentioned, we will always want to have artifacts, as not every deck will come across, as in not every of your opponent decks will come across artifact removal, and if you drop this down early, likely to gain like really good value over the long term. Each player destroys their lowest unit. Biting Frost. Okay, so something that I recently learned about Biting Frost, because this card is never, like the weather cards are never played in Constructed, right? So one thing that I found out about weather is that if it hasn't ticked on the opponent's board, it will remain even after 4 turns. Meaning that, let's say you drop Biting Frost on the melee row and there's no units on the melee row, it will continue to stay there until it damages a unit by 2 for at least for 4 turns. Meaning that you can use this to block units that have to be on the melee row, or if they want it on the melee row to activate their deploy ability, they get damaged by 2. So this is not, as in the weather cards are not as bad as it sounds. Yeah, I hope I hope I explained it clearly. But yeah, you get the gist of it. Meaning that Biting Frost will stay on the board until it does 8 damage. To put it simply. But I think Lacerate is just the best. As long as they have row stacking, it will get value. Resilience, boost self by 1 for each boosted ally. If there is a dwarf on the rows, summon from the deck. Nope. Okay, potentially a 6-point card. Boost by 2, boost self by 1. Resilience. I think Resilience is a pretty bad card in general. Because you are not gaining any value, right? And if they lock it or they kill that unit off, yeah. I just don't think it's worth it. Oh, okay. Now we have an interesting card, Shilat. Set the power of the highest unit in your opponent's hand to be 1. This card, I've been screwed over by this card so often. Cause let's say I'm running like a 13-point Tibor in my hand, and then he just drops this card. Immediately Tibor becomes a 1 unit play and also draws a card for the opponent. So definitely a good card, I would say. Banish a unit with 3 power or less. So this is 8 points. Damage an enemy by 2. Usually, as in this card sounds good, but the cooldown is too long. So I don't think it's worth to pick this up. And Juta, we saw this before. Usually it's just a 6-point play. So I think I'll get Shilat. And usually you want to drop this card in the 3rd round so that they can't mulligan away like the 1-point card that they end up like holding. Boost self. Okay, damage an enemy by 2. I think this is one of the artifacts that you don't wanna take. Cause, I mean, if you look at your deck, it doesn't really have orders that you need zeal for. And it only boosts it by 3, which is kind of bad. Whenever it's destroyed, so this only works in like consume decks, right? So I'm gonna take Enforcers. Does 2 damage. Okay. So this card, conditional. Destroy an allied artifact. Not very good in this deck. Draw a card, then place a card from your hand to the top of the deck. I guess this card is good in that it allows you to cycle out shitty cards in round 3 if you really still have them in your hand. Warhunt Rider, I mean you need 2 of them for it to work. So I think we'll go with Novice. And boost an enemy by 2. Okay. Hideous Feast. It's quite a good card. Archball used to be like one of the best bronze cards in Arena, in Gwent. But now it's not very good. I mean, Thrive, sure, you get to grow, but how likely is your opponent like letting this card stay on the board? Okay. Alright, now you have Tibor, Yarden. Actually, you must keep in mind that Yarden also is able to reset your own units, so if you need healing, it's quite a strong card to play. If you have 4 more traps, nope. Whenever an ally gains a charge, boost it by 1. Very bad card as well. So it's either Tibor or Yarden. Let's go with the trusty Tibor. So far I've played him and usually he draws out pretty low point cards in your opponent's deck. Because usually they will mulligan those away, right? So this is a 9-point play. Conditional card, lock a unit. So do I want another lock? No, I don't think so. Cleaver. Now this card is pretty damn insane. I mean, it still stays the same as previously, but now units are usually of low points and playing Cleaver pretty much kills most things that want to gain value over the long term. So Siri is quite an interesting card in Arena in that you can drop it down and like mess up your opponent's game plan. Because it allows you to gain a card advantage, right? If they can't lock or remove it. This is just a heal. After 2 turns, each player draws a unit and sets its power to 1. Okay. Create and play a bronze. Okay, so I'm just gonna go with Siri. It's just too good. Magni Division. Usually it gets removed immediately. If this unit is already boosted, damage an enemy by 3. Nope. Too conditional. Cavalry. Remove all charges from an enemy. This is potentially quite good. I've used this once or twice. Usually gains value. Boost an ally by 1 and give it Zeal. So I don't really need Zeal in my deck as none of them really run orders except maybe enforcers. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with Magni. It's just too good if they can't clear it. Okay, lock a unit again. Lock a unit, boost an ally by 2 and give it 2 charges. Okay, don't really need charges. Whenever you play a soldier on this row, boost it by 2. Huh. Yeah, this is not a good card. Okay, go with a second lock. Consume a unit in your hand and draw a card. So this Weaver's Incarnation, if you played the old Gwent, this is like Toad Prince, and Toad Prince was like way up there in Arena like previously. So I would say this card is still good. Allows you to cycle out your cheap cards. And you can even combo this with stuff like Goyard or Tibor to avoid their like negative effects. Boost a random unit in your hand. This is a 9-point play. Destroy an enemy beast. In general, I feel that beasts aren't that good in Arena, so people don't usually run them. So we are just gonna go with Weaver's Incantation. I mean, Necromancy is... we play a bronze unit. Nah, it's bad. Okay. Let's see. Strongest spells. Okay. conditional only works in constructed. Damage an enemy by 1 with a cooldown of 2. Overall, these 4 cards are just bad in general. So, after drawing so many cards, you realize that the gold and bronze are about equal. This is usually a really bad sign, because in arena, you can get as many gold as like the draws allow you to, and usually you want a lot more golds than bronze. Damage an enemy by 1, same. Okay, Ice Throw usually doesn't get value. Blue Stripe Scouts, very bad also. Boost an ally by 2. Whenever you review this card, boost a random ally by 2. 5-point play. How likely are we gonna draw Shoop at the last card though? I realize I don't have any multiple cards, right? Yeah. So let's not spoil it. Let's just go with Standard Bearer. Shoop! Oh man, we got exactly even gold and bronze. Play a bronze artifact from your graveyard. Pretty good. But noted that this is a order ability and it has only 3 health, which means your opponent is likely to remove it easily. Return an allied trap. Okay. Consume an ally. This is just yeah, very bad. Review a random unit from your deck, then boost an ally by its power. How likely would it be for you to review Tibor? Very unlikely, but I think this is the best card cause it's not conditional. Okay, so discard a card allows you to cycle King Hansel. Never ever play this card cause just bad in general. Even in constructor it's not good. So I think the choice here would be Ifni, as yeah, it just allows you to be versatile in your damage. And there you have it, 13 golds and 13 bronzes. And yeah, that's it for the arena guide, and I hope you liked the video, and thanks for watching.